I'm going to the library. Canadian Scout, how dare you going to the library? That's it.
Luka, oddawaj hajs, ciulu.
For a dime, but John gave us rehab instead. Yep, 6 months and 2 days on the wagon.
Bill you didn't pay, or what meal you didn't have because you were sacrificing for someone else, or if he knows that your water got turned off, or that your car is broken down, you're having to walk 3 miles to work and back. Why would God take the time to listen to our prayers if there's billions of prayers going up to Him every day? I mean, if God can have a relationship with every single star in the entire universe, how much more is He involved in our lives? The tiny details. Consider the birds of the air. They never sow nor reap, yet God cares for them. How much more does He care about you? God is involved, no matter how big, how small, or whether you notice it or not. God is very involved in our
Okay, one day it will come to you. I hope you get your dream come true. And I leave and I go down to somebody else. I don't know, 35 years go by. One night in New York, I'm at a movie. It's a premiere for a movie, and a lot of people are there. And this gal, Peggy Siegel, who's very, very aggressive, says, Regis, I want you to meet somebody. And I go, and I see a guy standing there with 4 people around him, interviewing him. So I stand behind the people because I don't want to interrupt them. And then I finally said, you know, he doesn't care. Let me go. No, don't go. I said, no, I'm going. And I walk away, and I hear this guy say, Regis, I want to talk to you. And I turned around, and there was this guy in the middle. So he comes up to me, and he says, you know, years ago, I was in the audience of the Joey Bishop show, and you came down to the audience, and you wanted to hear from someone, some young person, about what they wanted to accomplish in their life, and I couldn't answer the question. I couldn't do it. And to this day, when I see you on TV, that whole thing comes back to me. And I should have said something, and I didn't.
That kid talked to you. You met him.
Right. And that was Steven Spielberg.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great story.
I think about trying to get the ball to Julio for the most part. And I think defense is thinking about taking Julio away, so we can't. And when we don't, we go to other people. It depends what the coverage is. It depends how it goes. But I'm not wrecking my brain here saying, how do we get him this amount, him this amount, him this amount? That's not really my job. My job is to try to figure out the best way for us to be successful, try to be honest with everybody, and try to do my best at it.
So what was wrong with the offense? Are you all concluding that it's penalties and turnovers?
I mean, everyone can have their different opinion, but I think there's a lot of good things we're doing. I thought San Francisco was our worst game. I thought San Francisco was our worst game. We struggled to run the ball, and then we didn't make the plays in the pass game that we needed to. So, in the way our special teams played, the turnovers we got on defense, I was really disappointed in us in that loss. And the other two losses I didn't think was versus Tampa, New Orleans. It's two of the better games in terms of moving the ball. I mean, to go in a game where you don't punt once, to go in another game where you're averaging almost 8 yards of play. I mean, I don't look at those as, man, we're struggling. I look at it as frustrating because you're moving the ball, but you don't have the points to show for it. So you look at why don't you score those points, and we look into all that stuff. And I think in two of those games, a lot of that mainly was turnovers. It wasn't so much San Francisco game. We got to give.
See what I mean? Dear Diary, this morning was much like any other morning, and when I took my usual walk, I had no idea that on this day I was destined to find the girl of my dreams.
Well.
I suppose the whole thing was my fault. I was just a lonesome bachelor searching for my ideal.
Oh, dear.
Ah, yes. I'm quite impulsive by nature. And yet I can't say I was unhappy as a bachelor, though at times I felt I was missing something.
Help! Help! Save me! Oh, darn.
My technique was simple. I swept her off her feet. My search was over. At last I'd found my dream girl. Took her to the latest movies. Just two crazy kids. We dined at the best places. I took her to my favorite spot. Shut up. What was that? Hi, boss. Much obliged. Get going! How do you look, yes? You're like a dropskin.
How do you start it? Come on, do something. Let's load on here.
Wake up. I asked him, when will you come? I did not get a reply back. That was the end of my dream. Thank you for your time in reading my dream. I would like to hear what your insight is. I'm 32 years old now, and this dream was amazing. I never forgot about it after all these years. Of course not, man. That's why we're here, waiting for Jesus to go home. That's why we are here. So she sees darkness coming in. Now, that could be evil. That could also be the covering of the super volcano explosion. She said there was no wind. It was just darkness. And like I said, it could have been evil. It could also be the covering of super volcano. And if it's a storm, you will feel some wind. So it's kind of strange that you did not feel any wind. Then the hole started and got bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally, you had this dream for 3 nights in a row. If a dream happens more than once to you, it's a confirmation that this event will happen. Normally, that's what it means, and that's usually the case, unless you pray against it, and if it's something bad that you don't want to happen. So keep that in mind. You had this dream 3 times, which represents divine completion. 3 times, Father, Son.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is stupid. Bunch of dumbasses going around in circles.
Yeah, stupid. It's like just a bunch of dumbasses going around in circles.
This is the coolest show in the history of television.
Yeah, it's the coolest show in the history of television.
ESPN. He's Pan. That was cool. Oh yeah.
You need money for the meter, money for the toll. Don't turn on the heater, daddy's on the door. They tell me that the devil pays good money for your soul. We don't got no dough. Tell me there's $1 in the pocket of your jeans. Need money for the baby, the bacon and the beans. I'd buy you a dozen roses, but I just don't have the means. Don't got no dough. Sorry, Mr. Landlord, I cannot pay the rent. Run down to the bank and ask them where my money went. Then come back and tell me just who overspent. Mister, let me tell you, I blame the government.